Time to wrap it up for this July the 21st, 2015. We came into the stock market this morning favoring the sell side with the idea that we'd test the 2110, 2115. At least get stops below 2115. We started off wanting to sell 24 to 26s. We lowered it to 20 to 22, and we caught the selling in that band right there. And we did get our setup. So retest failure, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, chop, retest failure, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, chop. Now we got some pretty pronounced short covering, and the short covering started right here on these two bars by the 50 lot trader. And here we find ourselves. So we had talked about this over lunch, about we were getting no lift. The market had come down into this high volume area, which it was supposed to get to, and we didn't reject it. We did not come up and out of that. So pretty well caught this market the way that it's set up and traded today. Very, very slow trading, absolutely no range. We had like, what, 3 points right here? Just very, very slow. 50 lot buying peaked right here, and they sold the market, as you can see. Long liquidation, new selling in here. When it broke, took us down, and then right in here, this area, they started to cover up, and that's where we find ourselves. So it looks like we got a pretty good chance to close the market at 2110. 2100 is the best support, so we'll probably be a little lower in Globex. I don't know if we can break it. We are in a trading range with an upward bias. Why are we in a trading range even though the fundamentals stink? Because central banks are buying and supporting stock markets overtly. Top of a trading range. Top of the trading range held. We retested the yesterday's high and it held. So that's why we like the short side. So this one tells us find a place to sell it on the F1 screen. This screen as opposed to this one. And here's our move out of the middle. It came right out of this area right here. We do not want limit buys. Got plenty of time to get long. The trick is where do you get short. And this one favors the sell side too. So if the market was to close at 10, trying to sell 14 to 16, sell 1, 19 to 21, sell 2. I think we might go a little lower, so the first buy would be this 5 to 7 area. And then 2100, 2102 for buy 2. Do have some news tomorrow. FA housing index up 0.4. The housing numbers have been coming in stronger than forecast. This one probably won't because it's an index. Existing home sales 5.4 million. This number could come in higher than forecast. And then crude inventories, and we have generally been looking at draws. So that's the news tomorrow. The news focus will be existing home sales, in my most humble opinion, if there is such a thing of me having a humble opinion, right? Hey, we might go down, but we're going to go down swinging. Okay, we like the short off the opening in the financials, but we were really more interested in buying it because we thought the trading range would hold. And we just missed our buy in the note by 2 ticks. I'm getting in. So right here, the bottom was tested. Right here's the top of resistance. We in a fairly tight trading range right now. We definitely are looking at a P right here. but volume on a daily basis and with this price scaling over here is equal. We haven't built volume above it, so we can sell failure to take out 126.12. We can certainly buy on weakness early in the session to see if we can get through this. So the ideal situation in the note for us tomorrow is for a weak overnight session that really can't break support. That'll give us a chance to get long. If the selling does start in London, you need to be on board early to take advantage of that. So looking at this screen, here's resistance, the 8 to 12 area. So selling failure to take out 8 to 12 puts us at the top of the trading range. Technically, markets look really, really strong as they come into the top of trading ranges, but the trading range holds. So on the buy side, we definitely have buyers below 24, which is a long ways off. So the breakout from the overnight session came from 26.01. So a 30 to 02 buy for Globex, buy 1, and a 25.21 buy 2. And then we'll make 15 to 19 sell 2. Okay, on the ZB, similar situation. We thought there was one short left in the market, but we were really more interested in buying, and we had a buy at 50.29 to 151.01, and that worked about as good as you could expect. And the reason we had our buy there was this breakout. We thought we would get stops beneath these numbers, but we didn't think the market would break. So here we are, at the top of resistance. So selling failure to take out 12 to 16, then 23.27. I don't think anything has really changed. The buy side, last rotate stopped at the buck, then down to 28.29. So the buy really has to be against the 28 area. So we'll put 25.29 buy 1, and then 13 to 17 buy 2. I don't think we get to our number 2 levels in Globex without a piece of news, and that's really not in the cards. So top of trading range, being a seller, you can't get through 152.12 to 16. I think that's a pretty darn good trade. For no other reason than the fact we're at the top of the trading range this time. This morning we came in, we wanted to be buyers for no other reason than the fact that we were at the bottom of the trading range, pretty close to it. And you can make those kind of calls if you're in a position to put the market in its proper context, and we're pretty good at doing that. Gold still pointed lower. No magic here. We'd hoped to sell against 10, didn't get that. Started a new distribution down in I period. So 95.97 is buy 1. We break that 85.87. And we can have a little wider ranges because of London. London is the gold market. 5 to 7 sell 1. And 13 to 15. Well, we'll make it 9 to 11 for sell 2. I don't think we get to our S2 levels on the sell side. Now, there was a couple articles that were out, who in the hell would sell $2.7 billion of gold at the market when the market was at its thinnest? Who wants, you don't do that with your own money. It's too hard to accumulate capital. But governments can do it because they're never held accountable. And so who's trying to support the idea that even though governments are printing money, we're in deflation? And you can point your fingers probably at China. And but you won't know for 3, 4, 5, 6 months who actually did it. Okay, looking at the euro. The euro was strong today. I don't dollar weakness, and the dollar weakness was attributed to the Fed's assessment that industrial production, capacity utilization were way overstated, much lower than being currently forecast. And you know, we sit back and say, well, duh, what number isn't overstated to show the best possible economic foot by the current regime of bureaucracy heads and chiefs? And if you don't do what the boss says, you get fired. And what happened at the Bureau of Labor Statistics a couple of years ago, the first political appointees ever in the history of that bureau were put in charge of it. And if you don't give them the numbers they want, which is coordinated with the West Wing of the White House, you're in trouble. Yes, probably all economic numbers are being overstated right now. So here we are, 109.75 to 110. That's sell 1, sell 2. On the buy side, we have this breakout from 9 to 9.15. So 9.15, 9.25 is buy 1. Don't really care for long trades in this contract. And then 8.75 is buy 2. You know, when numbers are misreported by the governments, after a while you learn how to read that. And I mean, we have the experience with Pravda. Why would you bother reading Pravda and Izvestia? Well, you find out what the current rulers of the regime are thinking about. But it's because we can read between the lines. So if we get fed a line of smoke, which really isn't true, we're able to discern that too. And that's not all bad. Okay, crude oil. Looking at crude, definitely pointed lower. The reason for the recent selling has been the Iranian nuke deal, which lifts all sanctions and brings them back as a bona fide, approved, accredited producer of crude oil through OPEC that can sell on the world market, sell crude oil. There is more supply than demand. And over time, that'll take this market lower. But on any given day, more supply than demand really doesn't have a hell of a lot to do with anything as far as this market trades. So this market tells you to be this screen tells you to be a seller. Looking at the F2 screen, probably not as strong. So we've got a buyer against 50, and we got a seller against 51.50, and we've got a B right here. So 51, 51.25, sell 1, 51.50, 75, sell 2. On the buy side, 50 and a quarter, 50.50 because of Globex, buy 1. And 50, 49.75 buy 2. That's it for July the 21st, 2015. We had a pretty good day in the room. Looking forward to getting after it and shaking that money tree again tomorrow. Y'all have a great evening, and we're going to have a couple of days of respite from the high temperatures and back to 100 degrees with humidity to match this weekend. So lots of fun here in the southern central plains. I'm out of here.